It's a pleasure introducing to you our 8th Masters Collection, the Fellowship of the Ring.
We wanted to finally depict the entire Fellowship of the Ring in 1/6 scale.
All 9 of them, plus Gollum. It's something that we've been wanting to do for ages, and we didn't know exactly how to do it.
In some ways it meant a tremendous challenge. In other ways it was a celebration of what Lord of the Rings means and how important all these characters are.
Very early on, we realized how big this was.
A 1/6 scale figure is a hefty piece. Having 10 1/6 scale figures plus a huge stairway takes up a significant amount of vertical space.
This is unprecedented for our company, and to have thought to do it any bigger, I'm not sure anyone would have a house where it might fit.
When we first started figuring out how we're going to make this, who's going to be involved, it was really literally like everyone. Because we were so excited, we're like, everyone's going to touch this in some way.
It's been a very long time since we've had all the sculptors working on just the Lord of the Rings, and now they were all working together on the same sculpture. It was a monumental team effort.
Every figure has been considered in its poise, its pose, its emotions, and how it represents the qualities of the character in the film.
So we have Gandalf at the very top. He's a protector, the guide through the darkness. Frodo, and he still possesses an innocence. He is not yet fully aware of the burden and the great responsibility he must carry.
Legolas is entirely alert, knowing through his senses that something lays out in the dark. Of course, Pippin, always being the mischief maker, is teetering at the edge, probably his toes a little too far out, and Merry, quick to try and save his friend, is reaching out.
And Gimli, whose deep sadness of where he's at in the movie at that point, of coming home to some extent and it not being what he expected, to show this really deep-rooted cultural side of Gimli that gets very much tested inside Moria.
Boromir, the greatest of men. We wanted to show the goodness that is in his heart, his willingness to help, and his commitment to the Fellowship. So he's helping Samwise across a rift, and it's so easy to remember him as falling to the darkness of the ring. So the fact we've managed to portray him in a positive light brings me great joy.
Of course, the greatest hero of Middle-earth, Sam. But in this moment, early into the journey of the Fellowship, the helping hand needs to reach out, and Sam gladly takes it.
Aragorn at the back, the ranger, the protector, last in line, shining some light on the way ahead.
And finally, Gollum following up, as in that classic scene from the Fellowship of the Ring, where he's looking out over the Fellowship as they're walking, spying on them.
And we actually left like a little nod next to him of the grill that he walks up to and grabs and like puts his face through.
We chose Moria as the setting for a number of reasons. It allowed us to create a compelling environment to sort of frame our characters. And it's also, in a very real way, this is where the Fellowship is actually forged.
And it was beautifully put together by Sean Bolton and Tagish Carey, who worked to create this amazing scene where you've got mithril veins coming down in the sides. You've got various stages of dwarven architecture that's dilapidated, that has been ruined because they haven't been there to look after the place.
And they would kind of bounce off each other and be like, oh, the strata will work like this. And if it was chipped away and all the dwarves were living here, there would be a certain level of cleanness here because the dwarves are such good architects and worksmen.
It's such a beautiful way to honor Moria.
We call it the Masters Collection because we fundamentally believe that the sculptors that work with us have become masters in their trade. And the fabulous sculptors that created this 8th Masters Collection piece, Gary, Tagish and Sean. We had Jason, Mauro, Daniel, Gong, Hogelina and Bowl, and not to forget all the other model makers, moulders, casters and painters that all work together to create this extraordinary piece.
There's just so much little detail and little things to see in it.
There's a bucket at the bottom of the piece where Pippin's looking over.
That bucket that fool of a took sends down the well, we put that down the bottom in the water. Just a nice little nod to a probably generic dwarven bucket. There's this rock down the bottom that's just next to Aragorn that we've got some runes inscribed with a secret message.
From the people at Weta Workshop to our fans. And it can be deciphered with those of you who love Middle-earth.
The combination of efforts made on so many other Lord of the Rings collectibles has all come together to realise this beautiful piece of art.
As much as this is a representation of the Fellowship of the Ring, it really is brought to you by the Fellowship of Artists here at Weta Workshop.